This is Carmel Bear, and you're listening to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix.
It is Saturday, November 5th, 2022, 8 a.m. sharp. It's a little chilly outside, Josh. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. I am one of your lovely hostesses, the Garlic Johnson. We are joined, as always, by your other lovely hostess, the Joshua Mitchell. Josh, say hi to your wife out there.
Hi, wife. Love you.
I'm not convinced. Don't forget about the Discord. We love people chat along with us on game day and every other day of the week, talking football and bullshit. We got the segment start times down in the description below. And thank you so much at Levi Oki Illustration for all the beautiful art you're seeing. Again, I won't pitch it forever, but great. Some original artwork is a great Christmas gift. I've done it myself, and it's hard to beat. So if you're out there, if you're looking, get into Carmel Bear now before he gets too busy in the holiday season. Josh, how we doing this morning?
How are you, Gar?
That good, huh? I'm saying I'm doing pretty good. I'm not. I guess I don't know. I think I told you I woke up this morning feeling a little extra tired. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe it's just because I'm a little chillier inside. Maybe I need to crank up the heat or just put on pants or something. I'm not wearing pants. Not a communist. Not in my own house, but just got some nice little basketball shorts on per the usual. But I'm doing pretty good. Just a little extra chilly this morning, a little hungry, but I never like to eat before the pod so I don't become a poopy boy. But what about you? How's your life been since Tuesday? Anything cool happen?
It's been... no, I went into the office, did the whole work thing.
Yeah.
I haven't really done much other than that, I guess. I'm trying to think.
We both extremely boring.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but
no.
Nikita got a new job.
What? I did not know that.
Yeah. And so she starts that on Monday. And so today we are going to Benihana as a celebration.
Benihana. That's white people paradise, dude.
Yeah. A little excited. And so we were going to go to Buca di Beppo, but I had already had that taco thought in my mind, and I think that they can read minds there. And Italian is kind of like the Mexico of the Europe. So
the Mexico of the Europe.
So I figured I might as well just skip that. So we're gonna go to white people paradise.
I'm sorry if I just got too wrapped up. What is the new job? Did I miss that, or are you just saying you're celebrating, or do you not want to say?
No, I didn't say what it is. No, she is going to be. So she got a job in Stearns County, which is St. Cloud.
Okay.
And it's going to be in
a little closer than going down to Anoka every day.
Yeah, it's not in corrections anymore. It's in Child Protection Services.
Okay.
She'll blend or something along those lines, and so she'll have a caseload of her own. She'll be doing good. It's a little bit different, but we think it's going to be a good fit, or I think it's going to be a great fit.
Sure. Well, I'm very excited for you, Nikita. Obviously, I know you usually listen to these, but you're here right now. That's very cool. Honestly, I'm very excited. Obviously, the drive's a little less, and if it's a move you wanted to make, I don't know if corrections was brutal or if the commute was brutal. Doesn't matter what the decision ultimately was that moved you here, but that's cool. I mean, it's always exciting to change careers, and if you're excited about it, that's cool. So, big shout out to Nikita, big part of the Hood fam. So, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear more about it. And maybe you won't have to get up does she have to get up at 4 a.m. anymore? Maybe that was the biggest decision maker. Because that's terrible, dude.
Yeah, 4 is sleeping in.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, no, that's cool. That's very exciting, Nikita. Good for you. Enjoy the Benihana. If they make a nice little, what am I thinking, an onion volcano, make sure you put that in the greasy fox. All the white people will clap and be amazed, so... but that's cool. That's exciting for the family. Yeah,
it is. And it'll be, it's going to be interesting. We're going to Benihana with a budget of $25 total. So
they won't even let you in the door, pal. They'll be like, all right, you can have one piece of calamari and now get the fuck out.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't even order calamari. That just sounds dirty.
Okay. All right, Josh. That is exciting though. Good for you. Good for the Mitchell fam. You want to get into the start sit, pal?
Sure. Last week, didn't do so hot with our total picks, but because we went 2 out of 5, but we did go positive 14.4. We did pick the 2 players that had the biggest spread of their other options, so good for us there. Overall, it's just above 500, 22 out of 40 but we're positive 53 points. So, if you're in the Victoria's Secret League, that is, that's kind of Jack's average. In standard scoring.
Oh no!
Yep, that was a little bit of a low blow. So I apologize, Jack, if you listen. But your team has been nothing but injured. So I'm sorry. You did beat me though.
I wouldn't be surprised to hear Jack doesn't listen. And I'll be honest, I've stopped listening to them, so it happens.
Yeah, it does. But so we're still positive. Going into this week, I got some good picks, I think. Some picks that made me go, I don't know who I'd take here. And so we're going to go with quarterbacks first, the busts at ? Tua at Chicago, or Fields versus Miami. Both guys touted as busts because the NFL is one of those, it's a millennial sport now. If they ain't good right away, they're bad. There ain't no rest. So they want it now.
I'd argue some of these kids aren't even millennials, but I get it.
Yeah. And so who are you leaning towards, Gar?
Well, I mean, initially, at the start of the season, I would have been Tua all the way, but Tua has been pretty wildly inconsistent. Obviously, we saw the fencing, we saw the concussions, we saw the big ankle hit. The Kurt Angle walked onto the field and put him in that ankle lock on that Thursday or that Sunday game, whatever it was. I mean, against Detroit last week, though, if you're just going for recency bias, he put up almost 30 points on Detroit, which, of course, Detroit has a hysterically terrible defense, and they're playing Chicago this week, which Chicago's slightly better defense, still terrible team. But then Justin Fields, the first 2 weeks, I believe he was or the first 3 weeks maybe, he was QB, 47, something like that. And then all the weeks since then, he's been QB 2. So Justin Fields has been absolutely lighting up. That Miami defense is nothing special. We saw Kirk Cousins put up numbers on them. So, I mean, without even sitting here and going down all the different tales of the tape, just based on the trends, I feel like I'd be more comfortable going Justin Fields. And that's how I'm feeling, though I do think the ceiling is higher for the Dolphins. I feel like I feel like they're just not right yet. So I'd go Justin Fields off the top of my head, and I'm sure you're going to agree with that because he's in your fantasy lineups, but I'm feeling Mr. Ohio State himself.
He is not in my fantasy lineups because I have the Herbert. But yeah, no, I agree. Justin Fields, just based on the past few weeks alone, it seems like they're kind of adjusting the offense to him as opposed to making him adjust the offense, which is smart for the Bears. Typically those two things aren't associated, but he put up solid numbers last week. I don't know if you know that. You were playing against him. Miami's defense is pretty bad.
Hey, one sec. Go fuck yourself.
Okay. But yeah, I'd go Fields in this situation. They're at home. They both have that threat of running, but I do think that he's going to utilize a little bit more, capitalize a little bit more.
All right, let's move on to the next one then, Josh. You put this down as the hurt and hungry category. We've got DeAndre Swift, who, if anyone, Josh likes to always take credit for all the things he called. I called DeAndre Swift was going to be banged up, and he was someone to avoid this year. So Swifty has just not been the case, and I believe a quote came out just this week that he says he can't promise anyone he'll be 100% the rest of the season. So that's pretty fucking alarming. But then we have DeAndre Swift going up against Green Bay at home in Detroit, or we've got Lasagna Lenny versus the Rams, also at home in Tampa Bay. Josh, who do you like here? You like the Swifty or you like the Lenny?
I like Lasagna in this situation, I guess. The comments made by Swift aren't encouraging. He missed I think he was very limited in practice from what I read, going up against that stout Green Bay defense. And by stout, I mean, short and fat and slow and bad. But, I think that, it's Jamal Williams is the backup going against his old team. I think that they might try to use him a little bit more just to kind of, for the feel-good stories because, the Detroit team doesn't have any other feel-good stories going on at this point. So I would say that Lasagna Lenny is going to be my pick out of these two. And I'm a little disappointed you didn't call him by his real name. It's Quadre Swift, Q for questionable Andre Swift instead of DeAndre Swift.
Somebody needs to mute that.
Boo.
Yep.
But no, I'll happily go Leonard Fournette with you, Josh. That's fine.
Okay.
And who do we have next?
Thank you. We've got the Rooks. There are a couple wide receivers that are rookies. They've had some up weeks. They've had some down weeks. They've had some left weeks. They've had some right weeks.
They've had some blue weeks. They've had some red weeks.
Yep. We've got Garrett Wilson, wide receiver for the Jets, versus the Buffalo Bills. Or Drake London, wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Garlic. Who you got?
Garlic. Well, I mean, Garrett Wilson has been he's been pretty good. He definitely has had like a lull here between week 4 through week 7. But started the season hot and then, put it back together against New England, of all people. You think New England's going to shut down your top option, but they did not. He had 6 receptions for 115 yards, and he only has 2 touchdowns in the whole season. Those came week 2, so you'd argue he might get some more looks, but they're playing Buffalo. Leslie Frazier, I mean, people around here are uniquely familiar with how memeable Leslie Frazier can be as a head coach and a man who's never shown more than 3 emotions in his entire goddamn life. But, in theory, if you're passing a lot or you get to garbage time, Garrett Wilson still has plenty of opportunities if Buffalo goes up, 48 rip within the first 3 minutes of the game. Otherwise, Drake London, he has been much more inconsistent. Started the season hot, but I say he's been in his lull since week 4. He did get 5 targets last week, which is nice to see, nice opportunity. He corralled 4 of those, but only for 31 yards, so still only put up 5.1 fantasy points and half-point PPR. So that's a little brutal. Playing the Chargers this week, the Chargers are bad, but if you've had watched any of the Atlanta tape, they much prefer to ground and pound over anything else. And if they can get away with Tyler Algier and Caleb Huntley and maybe, Flashes back this week, they would much prefer to throw the ball, to run the ball 60 times a game and throw it, 30 if they could get away with it. So I would prefer Garrett Wilson just based on opportunity, just based on the fact that the Jets in theory should be passing a bunch. But, if you want to make a compelling argument for Drake London, please go ahead.
No, I would definitely. I'm definitely leaning towards Wilson as well, just because that team's going to throw the ball a bunch. Trying to play catch up, division rivalry. Buffalo defense isn't that stout. They let Green Bay put up 17, and let's face it, Green Bay stinks.
Shut the fuck up,
So, and then we've also. You said that the Falcons would be lucky to throw it 30 times. They want to throw it 30 times a game. I think that that's actually excessive. They don't want to throw the ball that much. I'm trying to find Mariota's log on the season, but I can't because typing and talking is not my strong suit. Talking isn't a suit of mine at all.
Can you walk and chew bubblegum?
No. But yeah, so he's only thrown over 30 once this season. He's thrown 28, 26, 25, 20, 19, 14, 13. So he's definitely on the whole. They're definitely on the whole run first. So yeah, I'd go Garrett Wilson just for the safety of numbers.
All right, Garrett Wilson it is. Josh, next we've got the West Side Story, as you have put it. We have Tyler Higbee, the tight end for the Los Angeles Rams, going at Tampa Bay, so he's going from the west side all the way to the east side. Then we've got the other West Side Story, Mr. Gerald Everett for the Los Angeles Chargers, couple LA boys. He's going all the way east side down to Atlanta, Georgia. So we've got a couple West Side boys heading out east, couple of people who share a stadium in Los Angeles going out to play Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Who do you like this week, Josh? Do you like Higbee or do you like Mount Everett?
I like Mount Everett. He's on the Chargers. He gets targets. The Rams have just been so hit and miss. And if your name isn't Cooper Kupp, you're not going to get a lot of targets. And so I just think that going up against Atlanta, they're going to Everett's going to have a better game than Higbee would against Tampa Bay, just because a little bit more consistent offense.
This one's kind of a no-brainer for me. Tyler Higbee, in standard scoring, he's the tight end 20, and PPR he's 16, whereas Gerald Everett's the tight end 12 or the tight end 14. Of course, I guess Higbee's had his bye, but Higbee's just been much more inconsistent. He's gone 6, 10, 8, 12, 8, 1, bye 2, whereas he's only been under 5 one time. He's been 12, 10, 14. Oh, I guess never mind. He's been under 5 twice. He had a 0.7 in there against Cleveland, but I certainly think
that was the game that I had him.
Yeah, classic. Actually, no, Everett just had his bye as well. He's coming off his bye. I mean, I think Everett just has the much higher floor, which I guess maybe you're not going for if you're streaming tight ends. You probably want the higher ceiling, which I guess maybe in theory Higbee has, but maybe Everett even has the higher ceiling. So in either event, with Keenan Allen out, Mike Williams out, Herbert has to throw the ball to someone. Give me Everett.
Yeah. Next up, we have our always a favorite. We actually got one right. I don't know if we'd ever gotten one right on the season. So I decided to add a fourth player in there. Or pick the one that has the 4 players.
Jesus.
Just because we're on a hot streak. But we've got the
streak of one in a row.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 week heroes. We've got Taysom versus Baltimore. Duvernay, wide receiver for Baltimore, at New Orleans. Josh Palmer at Atlanta. Or Michael Carter versus Buffalo.
Josh, you give me your thoughts first, pal.
My thoughts are I don't want any of these guys. I do have Taysom in my lineup, but I don't know how he'd do against the Baltimore defense. Duvernay, we've already talked about as being fool's gold after week 1. He's had a couple more weeks, I think, where he scored some points, but hasn't done a whole lot. But with Rashad Bateman out, Andrews a little bit banged up. He might see more, but you'd have thought that would have been the case last game, and it wasn't him. It was somebody else. I forget the name because I'm bad at this job. Josh Palmer coming off bye, got injured receivers. He was a little banged up, had a C word, aka concussion. But it sounds like he's going to play. Or Michael Carter versus Buffalo. He's just, I think Robert Saleh hates him because Breece Hall comes in, takes his job, and he was drafted early last year, and so. And then they go out and trade for James Robinson, who's had a little bit more time to learn the playbook. They're going up against a stout Buffalo defense. I guess gun to my head, I'd pick Palmer in this situation, similar to the reason we picked Everett.
All right. Josh, I'll be 100% honest. I didn't hear a fucking word you said because I was dealing with something on this side for the computer. But having heard literally nothing that you said, I like Duvernay this week. He's got the opportunity with Rashad Bateman and we've got Mark Andrews banged up as well. If I had to rank them, I'd go Duvernay and then Carter because you think they're going to be passing to their passing back a lot in Buffalo, assuming they're down the whole time. I'd go Duvernay, Carter, Taysom, Palmer. I don't know if we had an agreement on Duvernay or if we're going to have to duke it out, but I'm sorry, I'm now listening again.
Well, I had Palmer as my lead.
All right. Now, I see. This is more interesting because I feel like we agree so much. All right. So who was your second then? Because I hate Palmer this week. He's still questionable also.
My second this week would have been Michael Carter, and then I would have gone Duvernay and then Taysom.
I mean, both of our seconds were Michael Carter. Do you want to rest there? Do you really, really want to convince me for Palmer?
No, we can rest on Michael Carter.
Okay. I think the ceiling for Duvernay is crazy high. That's why I love him. But if you want more of a floor play, I think Carter should have at least 5 receptions this week, which is especially helpful in the PPR formats.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No.
All right. Well,
moving on.
FanDuel
favorites. Gar, do you want to? Oh, I could start off.
Okay.
I went with Deion Jackson. He's a running back for Indianapolis. He's only $5,000, and we just found out yesterday that the number 1 overall pick in most fantasy leagues, Jonathan Taylor, is out again. And so I just think that starting running back for the team most likely, $5,000, kind of a no-brainer to toss him in. That way you have some extra Skrilla other places.
All right. This week, Josh.
Who do you have?
I like A.J. Dillon. I like the theory of Green Bay goes up a lot, and then A.J. Dillon has to crush the rock. He's only 61 hunch. I like that because I need him to be good this week because I will get eliminated in J-Well's guillotine if A.J. Dillon doesn't do well this week because I didn't put in any bids and Saquon Barkley's on a bye and this and that. So I'm almost praying that A.J. Dillon does well this week, but also I think he should for only 61 hunch, not bad. And then I also like Amon-Ra St. Brown. The stats came out this week. If you're a Read It, if you're a Read It scowler like I am, apparently Amon-Ra St. Brown, when T.J. Hawkinson's been at, he really goes off, and T.J. Hawkinson is permanently out of that offense. So hopefully Jared Goff is like, all right, I literally have no one else to throw to. Amon-Ra St. Brown, here's 20 targets today. So for only 71 hunch, I like him being at least a 2 times, if not a 3 times value on that.
Wow.
The 2-time, brother.
Who do you got for bust of the week?
Bust of the week, Josh. I really didn't like any of the busts this week, but in theory, we're a show here. We're putting out content that people want to bust this week. I got Tyreek Hill as a bust this week, Josh. 87 hunch, play that Chicago defense. Their Chicago defense is obviously a big shell of what it was, but I feel like they should be able to figure out how to double or triple team Tyreek Hill the whole time. So for that reason, he'll probably still put up 10 fantasy points, maybe 15, but that's still a pretty low, ROI for the 8,700 you're paying on Tyreek. So I'm not saying Tyreek will put up 0 fantasy points. I'm saying he'll be a terrible value, in which case he's a bust for me in that context.
Yeah, I'm going with the unprecedented. My favorite and my bust of the week are the same person. Deion Jackson for $5,000. You'd think, oh, that's a low price. Yes, it is. But he's going against the New England defense.
That's a low price. I know.
It is. He's going against the New England defense. So people are going to say, oh, wow, $5,000 for a starting quarterback or running back. That's no brainer, like I said in the previous segment. But I also feel like you got to temper expectations with him. He's not going to go out and put up 40 points and be the steal of the week like we had with Donta Foreman last week. I think that, or Donta, and then who else was it that filled in for another guy?
Oh, yes. I can't think of anyone last week. Donta Foreman was obviously the big one. Tyler Algier.
That might have. No, I don't think it was him, but yeah, that might be the case. So, it might be Donta that I'm thinking about, and so that's kind of where I'm. I don't think that it's going to be numbers like that, but for $5,000, still have him in your lineup. Just temper expectations, people.
So he's not only a favorite, but he's also a bust. I love it.
Yep.
Moving on, Josh. Looks like neither of us did it again this week. You don't want to spill your secrets on any sleeper over under contests. I promise I'll get back into it, but I've just not been motivated to put my money back in yet. I did do a daily draft this week. That was kind of fun, but you got nothing for the sleeper over under this week, Josh?
Yeah, I did win a contest on Thursday night. I lost one too because I copied somebody.
La-dee-da.
Yep. But so I still came out negative $1 in that. My numbers on the season. Nikita's still listening, so I don't want to say how much money I'd lost, but I haven't put any money in. So I guess technically, if we're going to like last season, I put in 40 total. Technically, I'm still even. I haven't lost money, but I had, my numbers were up over 100 this year, and then now it's back down to 40. So it's not been a good season for me. But I started off this way, and who knows? Maybe I'll turn things around. I won't. Maybe.
So this is, if you're what, in Sherburne County, right? This is the radio in Sherburne County in probably about 5 minutes. Just.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You're about to be FBI's most wanted, Josh. Quit losing money for the family. You got to put Asher through college, pal.
But I haven't lost money. That's a thing. I have, but
bingo.
Weekly preview, Gar. Any big news? Any storylines you want to talk about? Any waiver wire stuff? League stuff?
Waiver wire was pretty fucking dry this week, I'll be honest. I don't even remember if I picked anyone up. Maybe I got lucky and snagged Duvernay somewhere, but he was probably owned already. I was more interested in what you would think about. Do you think any of the trade people have immediate impact this week? We saw when CMC went over his first week, he didn't really do a whole lot. He did get to play, but his second week is really when he blossomed. And then, Jeff Wilson, Mike McDaniel already came out and said he'll be active for Miami. Who knows, if Zach Moss plays for Indianapolis. Who knows if Nyheim Hines ends up playing for Buffalo? TJ Hawkinson, who knows what kind of impact he has if he plays or if if he's on a snap count. Any of the people that got traded, even Bradley Chubb on defense, and he got a big extension as well. His Chubb got extended, if you know what I mean. Do you think any of the people who got traded this week will have an immediate impact and we'll be seeing highlights or nah?
I think I'm trying to guys that might have an impact, maybe not like fantasy relevant, but a decent amount of playtime. Chase Claypool in Chicago, and then Nyheim Hines in Buffalo. I think that with Hines being primarily like a receiving back, and then they have Singletary as well. I think that he's going to get. They're going to try him out and with a lot of the third down or passing situations, 2-minute drill type stuff. Maybe not 2-minute drill until he learns the playbook, but I do think that they'll have plays designed where they focused with him in practice, so he'll have some plays in the playbook designed that he'll be out on the field and have an opportunity. I don't think that'll be like I said, super fantasy relevant, but he'll get his. And then Claypool, there's just not a lot of individuals on that team playing wide receiver, and if he can, learn some of the plays, he'll have a similar situation.
All right. What do you think
about?
You didn't.
Oops. Go on.
I was just going to say, I was going to move on. I was going to say, what do you think about the Lions and the Pack? Lions, whether it's been under Dan Campbell or not, Lions have played the Pack really hard, but they're also historically bad this year. Do you expect it to be a close game just because it is that division rivalry? I'm sure a lot of people from the outside looking in are like, the Packers should fucking beat them 40-0. But we know, you and I have seen a lot of these games, a lot of these Lions-Packers games the last couple of years. Maybe not every single game, but a lot of these games have come down to the end there. The Lions have played the Packers very, very hard in recent memory. So do you think this game comes down close as a division rivalry, or do you think the Packers mop the floor with the sorry-ass Lions?
Yeah, I think it'll be close, and then, starting kickoff happens, Green Bay takes it back for a tud, and then they never look back, 75-3.
Wow, that's quite the storyline, Josh.
Yep. I do want to go back and touch on the waiver wire. You didn't like Cordarrelle Patterson on the waiver wire?
I would assume most people held him. I don't know how many people would have actually dropped him.
Oh, because I picked him up in our league.
In the Hidden Oaks redraft league, I'm fucking dead, dude. I don't care. I'm not even looking at the waiver wire anymore.
Yeah, I was like, that's weird. I somehow noticed his name there. It turns out Willie dropped him the day before he was designated to return from IR.
That's tough. But yeah, no, I'm fucking done in that league, dude. I'm toasted. I'm toasted in most of my leagues. I'm just going through the motions at this point. Nothing matters.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm. We've given up. We've thrown in the towel.
You've got the double header thing. You could still turn it around.
In theory, it's possible, but my team fucking stinks, and I don't think Cordarrelle Patterson was going to be the difference between me and the playoffs and not.
I guess.
But yeah. All right. So if you got,
can we talk about how Derek is cheating and only has 816 points against, and everybody else is sitting over 860?
The luck of the draw, man. I don't know what you want. He also has a lot of points for. Isn't he top 3 in points for?
He's number 2.
Okay. Well, it's okay. So it's not even his fault. He's blowing everybody out.
I guess.
If it makes you feel better, I think last week he lost to the median. I think he's 11-3, 12-4 or something. And last week I'm pretty sure he only put up 121. And one of his losses was to the median.
Loser.
All right. Is that all we got, Josh? Should we hit the outro?
Yeah, we can go ahead and hit the outro. Go Packers.
Right. There you go. Go Packers. Don't forget, we've got the Discord. We appreciate everyone who listens. We will see you again Tuesday night. I have been on the hot seat in the Guillotine Leagues for weeks and weeks at this point. The fact that I am still scraping by is almost a miracle. So, Josh, you might want to get your creative juices flowing. You might have to write at least 1, if not 2 obituaries for me. I might die in the guillotines in the same week, so that'd be wild. But we'll be back Tuesday night. and I know I mentioned it on the Tuesday show. I won't really get too soapboxy, but I mean, I feel like I have the need to vote. And since we have this platform and so many people here listen, I feel like they lean a little right, and I lean a little left these days. So I mean, I would just ask people to question who they're voting for. Josh, you don't have to endorse anything I'm saying. I know you feel differently about politics than I do, but it's like the Republican Party ain't what it used to be. So if someone who's listened, they've been hard red for a long time because of guns or because of whatever else. I mean, we got people out there still denying the election. We got people out there who are it's become the Trump party, and the more mainline, streamlined Republicans who have been like the Mitt Romneys or the John McCains, that party, they are now the exception or the rules. So if you're more of a moderate, I would say Joe Biden and Tim Walz are no fucking different than Joe Biden, really. Or the Mitt Romneys, I'd say Mitt Romney and Joe Biden are pretty in line with each other. Whereas all the people who are much more Trump aligned these days, I would question you, and who you're voting with and who you're voting around. So. And, I mean, one other thing, it's like the Republican Party today, it's not even the party of freedom anymore. The Republican Party is currently actively trying to take away women's rights. They're trying to ban what you can and can't teach in school. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I would look at what they're doing, and I don't think the Republican Party is the party you think it is anymore. And I would look at who's voting around you. That's kind of, it's well documented that I was a libertarian for a time, and I voted right a lot. And then I just kind of looked around, and all I saw around me, everyone who agreed with me was either a wealthy and or a crazy white person, and all the racists are voting red. All the people who are absolute nut jobs are voting red, and it just sits there and makes me question, why do all my beliefs align with these people? And so I'm not saying anyone has to believe what I believe, but I'll make one last second plea that I think both mainstream parties are pretty much controlled by corporations these days. But I mean, I think voting red is very dangerous in this day and time. And until that party can return to more of a milquetoast Mitt Romney, John McCain type Republican Party, I think voting red is very dangerous. So I just want to make my plea to the masses: please consider voting all blue, at least until a time where the Republican Party is not full of fucking nut jobs anymore. Not that anyone cares what I think, but I would take a harder look at the stances that some of the people you're voting for are taking. I just want to.
I'm going to write in Vladimir Putin.
That's one way to do it, Josh. That's how you want to live your life. You go for it, pal.
Yeah, go Packers.
All right, thank you for listening, everybody, and we will see you on Tuesday night.
We're scared. We're scared of an Obama presidency, and I'll tell you why. I'm concerned about someone that cohorts with domestic terrorists such as Ayers.
I have to tell you, he is a decent person and a person that you do not have to be scared as President of the United States. Now, look, I
got to ask you a question. I do not I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not. No,
man. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about. He's not. Thank you.